Hello, Tacoma City Club. I bring greetings from Minnesota, the southernmost province of Canada. People often ask, what is the difference between Washington State and Minnesota? And having spent nearly 6 decades in one and nearly 6 months in the other, I feel especially well qualified to make some simplistic comparisons. The first is that both states are secretly run by alien hordes called the Scandinavians. In fact, many Washingtonians began life as Minnesotans before getting back on the train and heading further west until they couldn't any longer. 2, being so close to Canada, the people there have what some might consider an unhealthy respect for authority. In Minnesota, the default position, if the government does something hinky, is to say, well, they must have a good reason then. In Washington, even the good reasons aren't good reasons. Speaking of which, I was reading in the News Tribune that your governor came out with a pretty ambitious budget plan in which he said new taxes were needed because state government had already been cut too deeply. Now, he must have a good reason then, but I have to confess that I started feeling a bit nauseous reading his explanation. Quote, "We have slashed to the bone, and now we're looking in the cartilage," the governor said. And on mental health, he said, quote, "We're in the carotid artery." I think I threw up in my mouth a little bit when I read that part. I mean, I go away for 6 months and you make Hannibal Lecter the governor. What, coming soon, Silence of the Donkeys? In Minnesota, they would have just assumed that he was promoting one of their growth industries, the Mayo Clinic. Thanks to many of you, before I left, I learned that it gets cold in Minnesota. I hadn't known that. But it appears that is the one fact that people know about the place. There is even now a movement, well, maybe not a movement, maybe just an inkling, to market the reality of the weather. Rather than being part of the Midwest with Chicago already as the titular capital, they want to declare the region of the North with the Twin Cities as its center. No, really, embrace the cold, they say, just like the Scandinavians do. Scandinavians again. Coincidence? There's a saying in Minnesota that there is no bad weather, only inappropriate clothing choices. And then right after saying it, they bitch about the weather for 20 minutes. Oh, and another thing, they worship all things Seattle. If Seattle, or sometimes Portland, does something, they feel compelled to imitate it. I have made it my mission to disabuse them of this fetish. If they wish to be more like Seattle, I tell them, they should double their rents, triple their commutes, and tear up 2/3 of their light rail system. Oh, and add about 50 more Starbucks. Let me end with a special greeting for Dawn Lucian, Mrs. Tacoma. For her service to City Club, to the Tacoma community, and to the cause of making higher education available to all in the South Sound, I say thanks, Dawn. And to the rest of you, skål.
Peter, on behalf of City Club and the Programs Committee, we want to thank you for your continued support. It has meant a lot to City Club and to the Tacoma community. We wish you well in your endeavors now, and we want to see you home very soon. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, thank you. That's nice. Appreciate it. Is this...
Yeah, well...
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
You're welcome.